Stop waiting for a great deal on better sleep. Mattress Firm's July 4th sale is happening now. Save up to $700 on top brands when you get a king bed for a queen price. Plus, get a free adjustable base on qualifying purchases. Shop today to get the right bed at the right price.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The WNBA is allowing all 12 teams to fly with their charter company when possible. The long overdue decision comes after Brittany Griner was harassed in the Dallas-Fort Worth airport last weekend. A YouTube influencer confronted Griner as she and her Phoenix teammates were walking to their gate to catch a commercial flight. The man expressed his anger over the prisoner swap that freed Griner from a Russian prison in December. WNBA players have been complaining for years about the physical and mental stress of flying commercial. All 30 NBA teams use a charter service or have their own planes for every road game. Freddie Freeman delivered a bases-loaded single in the bottom of the 11th to give the Dodgers a comeback win over the Chicago White Sox. The Giants are in town tonight for the start of a 3-game series at Dodger Stadium. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 is dedicated to empowering our communities by providing progressive talk radio for our audience. We strive to be an intersectional voice for the voiceless. As a Black-owned and operated station, we are committed to highlighting diverse perspectives and creating safe spaces for meaningful dialogue. We believe that everyone has something unique to bring to these political, economic, social, and cultural conversations, and we don't shy away from the hard conversations about current events. We endeavor to be a beacon of hope and understanding, while boldly challenging listeners to think more deeply about difficult topics that impact us all. With this in mind, our mission statement at KBLA Talk 1580 is simple: to create an inclusive platform that promotes civil discourse through honest dialogue and encourages personal growth among our listeners, so they can become the active agents of change. Our vision is to establish ourselves as the premier radio network with relevant programming across the beloved community, connecting people through shared experiences and collective power for lasting impact beyond these challenging times.
It's our anniversary.
Every weekday during the month of June, we're giving away gear from the KBLA.store to say thank you for your support of KBLA Talk 1580 as we celebrate our second anniversary. Each weekday, a different host will be giving away fresh merch to one lucky caller. All you have to do is keep it locked to KBLA Talk 1580 throughout the day, and our host will tell you when to dial in and when. It's our way of showing appreciation to you for helping make KBLA Talk 1580 the most trusted, credible, and reliable source of information for listeners just like you. Here's hoping you'll be one of our lucky winners. But you can always head over to the KBLA.store anytime for the best in KBLA Talk 1580 gear for yourself and great gift ideas. Now, celebrating 2 years of being your go-to, we're KBLA Talk 1580, and we've got your black.
Everybody in the house, make some noise!
Is there a better day of the year to celebrate the anniversary of the only unapologetically progressive talk station west of the Mississippi, focused on issues that impact the black community?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
We think not. A station that amplifies black voices like yours with hosts and guests who look and sound like you. Celebrating our second anniversary on Juneteenth, we're KBLA Talk 1580. And you ain't seen nothing yet.
Something for my godson Elijah and a little girl named Corinne. Some say the blacker the better, the sweeter the juice. I say the darker the flesh and the deeper the roots. I give a holler to my sisters on welfare, Tupac kids, if don't nobody else care. And I know they like to beat you down a lot. When you come around the block, brothers clown a lot. But please don't cry, dry your eyes, never let up. Forgive, but don't forget, girl, keep your head up. And when he tells you you ain't nothing, don't believe him. And if you can't learn to love you, you should leave him. Cause sister, you don't need him. And I ain't trying to gas you up, I just call him how I see him. You know what makes me unhappy? That when brothers make babies and leave a young mother to be a passion. And since we all came from a woman, God from our women while we rape our women. Do we hate our women? I think it's time to kill for our women, time to heal our women, be real to our women. And if we don't, we'll have a race of babies that will hate the ladies that make the babies. And since a man can't make one, he has no right to tell a woman when and where to create one. So will the real men get up? I know you're fed up, ladies, but keep your head up.
Ooh, child, things are gonna get easy. Keep your head up. Ooh, child, things will get brighter.
Keep your head up.
Ooh, child, things are gonna get easy. Keep your head up. Ooh, child, things will get brighter.
Hey yo, I remember Marvin Gaye used to sing to me. He had me feeling like black was the thing to be. And suddenly the ghetto didn't seem so tough. And though we had it rough, we always had enough. I huffed and puffed about my curfew and broke the rules. Ran with the local crew and had a smoke or two. I realized mama really paid the price. She nearly gave her life to raise me right. And all I had to give her was my pipe dream of how I rock the mic and make it to the right screen. I'm trying to make $1 out of 15 cents. It's hard to be legit and still pay your rent. And in the end, it seems I'm heading for the pen. I try to find my friends, but they're blowing in the wind. Last night, my buddy lost his whole family. It's gonna take the man in me to conquer this insanity. It seems the rain will never let up. I try to keep my head up and still keep from getting wetter. You know it's funny when it rains, it pours. They got money for wars, but can't feed the poor. Said it ain't no hope for the youth, and the truth is it ain't no hope for the future. And then they wonder why we crazy. I blame my mother for turning my brother into a crack baby. We ain't meant to survive cause it's a setup. And even though you're fed up, you got to your head up.
Happy birthday to you, Tupac. Rest in peace. Man, yeah. Woo. Gone but not forgotten. And what a great, great moment we had this month celebrating his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. In honor of Tupac's B-Day, in honor of the 50th anniversary of hip-hop, and in honor of you every single day living your life, I am really happy to invite our next guest to the microphone. He was the first local Cleveland hip-hop artist to perform at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame back in 1999 because he won a competition. And at that show, he met Public Enemy and connected with Chuck D backstage. He went on to release his own underground solo projects, an album, Soul Hop the Breakthrough on EMI Denmark, critically acclaimed, by the way, with the Danish supergroup Nobody Beats the Beats in 2006. He's been on stage with all kinds of people, kind of like a who's who of hip-hop. Yassine Bey, Common, Talib Kweli, the Black Eyed Peas, Jay-Z, The Roots, Mary J. Blige, Chaka Khan, Raheem DeVaughn, and many, many more. He reunited with Public Enemy when he got back to the USA and started working as the official opening act and MC for the 20th anniversary tour where PE 2.0 came together. Look, I can go on with this bio, and we will, but he also just so happens to be the curator and the creator of the Bay Area Hip Hop Archives, which is part of his portfolio as a community leader and activist. Master Jahi, welcome.
Peace, peace, and good morning. Thank you for that introduction. And happy heavenly birthday to Tupac Amaru Shakur.
Absolutely. So, first question, I mean, a lot of people would say, well, this guy's down with the PE camp and, you know, touring the world and on the mic as an MC. What made you decide, okay, I'm going to take on this massive job of chronicling Bay Area hip hop and you know, putting it in a museum where it would probably not perish?
Man, well, that's a great way to start. Let me go ahead and just drop this first on your listeners that on August 11th, when we induct over 40 Bay Area hip-hop artists, activists, and educators, the beautiful, wonderful voice that you hear every morning, Dominique DePrima and Home Turf, will be a part of our celebration. So I'm giving that to you and to your fans first thing in the morning, that this giant step of preserving our culture includes you, because you are very important to the Bay Area hip-hop community. For folks who don't know, if they look up Dominique DePrima Home Turf, they will find out some incredible history. Dominique, again, I'm lifting you up first before I answer your question, because when I started digging and doing my research and seeing you rhyming the Constitution back in, 85, I was like, this predates Hamilton. Just so much community work you did on Home Turf, and just really loved by the Bay Area community. So I'd be remiss if I didn't start there, because you matter. You're important.
Thank you.
And we're
I
going to
appreciate
celebrate
that.
you on August 11th.
I appreciate that. And I actually am honored to be standing next to the folks that you are lifting up, the artists and just of all manner of contributors to the culture.
That's right. Speaking of, you lifted up my big brother, Chuck D. I want to salute him because he asked us a question months and months ago. What could we do for hip-hop for the 50th anniversary? Everybody's trying to do a money play. People who haven't did anything about the culture is now showing up talking about, hey, like no receipts. And he was saying, it's important for us to think about what we can do for our culture around legacy. And I had already been thinking about a variety of different ideas, but out of that conversation and many others, what I recognize is that in the 50-year history of Bay Area hip-hop, there's never been one central location where you can not come see an exhibit, but really sit down and research and study us as subjects, not objects. Museums, they just sometimes just want your objects and tell you the story later. I wanted to create an archive where the narrative and the story was led by the artists themselves. So when you go see Davy D's collection, the first person you'll hear is Davy D, and he will tell you about what's in his collection. And, the idea of preservation, I've been saying this to my hip-hop community here, that even at our best, if we, exercise, drink our water, and even eat vegan or however you do it, we're probably not going to be here for the 100th anniversary of hip-hop. So we probably need to do the work now to make sure that future generations know that we are here. And what better way to do it than to build special collections with, memorabilia, artifacts, discographies, photos, tour books, from some incredible artists. I'm not originally from Oakland, California, but like Tupac, Oakland is my home. Oakland embraced me, and I embraced Oakland 25 years ago. And this is my contribution to our culture to make sure that we are preserved for future generations. It's been a heavy lift. I have learned a lot. I have taken the roses and the arrows. But what I will say is that as we continue to press forward, August 11th, 2023, at the Oakland Museum of California, is going to be a great night for hip-hop culture in the West Coast.
Yeah, why is it a heavy lift, Master Jahi?
Oh, man, it's a heavy lift because, one, some artists have been so on the move that they haven't spent time to stop and think about what they've done and what artifacts they have. So the heavy lift is, going to people's storages and really, trying to find those things that can connect to their narrative. That's one. Two, we still are in a position in hip-hop culture, particularly the underseen, undervalued, underappreciated, socially conscious activists, educators, MCs. We are still very much underseen and undervalued, and I call it a heavy lift because all too often we hear about the treetops, and I got mad respect for the treetops, and the treetops are the top folks that you always know and hear about from the Bay Area who always have reserved seating at the Bay Area Hip Hop Archives, the Too Shorts, the E40s, the MC Hammers. They are champions, and any time they give me a call, they know it's automatic because we got incredible love and respect for them. But they are the treetops, and all too often the leaves, the branches, the trunk of the tree, and the roots of the tree sometimes gets overlooked. So the heavy lift of, first of all, people who have been doing hip-hop cultural work to say to them, you are valued, you matter, that we want to lift you up, and people being able to receive that. Sometimes when you get undervalued a lot, when somebody come with some value, sometimes it's hard to embrace. So that has been a heavy lift.
Well, you know what?
There are people.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. I was just going to say the other part of the heavy lift has just been, building with our community. And I think anytime you do community work and you're dealing with human beings, some people feel like they should be included. It's interesting when you create something and you start something, then all of a sudden people got all these ideas about what you should do and how you should do it.
Yeah.
And some of that has been a challenge, but overall, what I've been able to say and really show and prove to my community is that I'm genuine, I'm sincere, I'm from the culture. You know that I'm going to take care of our folks and make sure folks' legacies are taken care of. And I already knew it was going to be a heavy lift, but sometimes for our culture and for hip-hop, man, I'm down. Let me put me on the bench press. Let me lift up.
Talking with Master Jahi. He is curator and creator of the Bay Area Hip Hop Archive inside the Oakland Museum. And for those of you from the Bay, you can see what I'm holding up on the YouTube, KBLA 1580. Yes, this is an original. Speaking of swag from back in the day, continuing the conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
You're listening to K-Trip, where we play all the best classic water-wasting hits like watering your lawn during the hottest time of the day and leaky faucets. They're tunes from another time because now that we face a hotter, drier future, every drop counts. Despite an extremely wet winter, keep using less water, fixing leaks, and reusing indoor water for your garden. Visit SaveOurWater.com for more ways to conserve. Up next, brushing your teeth with the water on. K-Trip.
Tune in to More Than That with Gia Peppers live this Sunday at 4 p.m. or wherever you listen to podcasts. This episode of More Than That is sponsored by Procter & Gamble's Widen the Screen program. Let's widen the screen so we can widen our
When
view.
I move my body, I feel like freedom.
Malik Books is hosting the Freedom to Read and Write Juneteenth celebration at Westfield Culver City Mall on June 17th from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. Come celebrate the freedom to read and write with love, music, children's activities, author readings, book signings, and more. For more information, go to MalikBooks.com. Come celebrate with us at Malik Books. Story time with Jozo Bozo the Clown. Featured author Anise Rochelle, reading and signing her bestseller, Juneteenth a Book, teaches children about Juneteenth. Anise Rochelle has written 5 books that promote self-love and confidence. Come celebrate at Malik Books. Fun for the whole family. Freedom to read and write the Juneteenth celebration. Our voice matters. For more information, go to MalikBooks.com. Again, MalikBooks.com.
King C. Gillette is the modern man's answer to their facial hair. With a complete set of precision tools, the King C. Gillette line offers the perfect fit for your facial hairstyle. Want to try something great? Try the Style Master, the quintessential styling tool that every man needs to craft their style. It's a waterproof, cordless trimmer with a long-lasting 4-directional blade. It's extremely versatile and designed to edge, trim, and stubble in 4 directions on any hair length. Master your style with King C. Gillette.
What's up? It's a Target trend alert. New swim has just arrived and it's sunny weather approved.
If you're into bikinis or one pieces, high waists or cutouts, they're the perfect combo of trendy, flattering, and affordable.
That's right. And there are so many cool styles with gorgeous details. These suits have macrame, crochet, wood beads, pretty shells, and more. Totally a luxe for less vibe.
Yes, so dive in and shop this Target trend without the spend.
The conversation continues right now with Dominique DePrima on First Things First.
It's just me against the world. Me against the world, baby. I got nothing to lose. It's just me against the world. Me against the world, baby. Can you picture my prophecy? Stress in the city, the cops are topping me. The project is full of bullets, no bodies is dropping. They ain't no stopping me. Constantly moving while making millions. Witnessing killings, leaving dead bodies in the abandoned buildings. Can't reach the children cause they're illin'. Addicted to killing and the appeal from the cap villain. Without feeling, but will they last or be blasted? Hard-headed bastard. Maybe you'll listen in this casket. The aftermath. More bodies being buried. I'm losing my homies in a hurry. They relocating to the cemetery. Got me worried. Stressing my vision's blurry. The question is, will I live? No one.
KBLA Talk 1580. We are celebrating hip-hop. We're celebrating the West Coast, and specifically talking with Master Jahi, who is the curator of the Bay Area Hip-Hop Archive. You got to get in the YouTube chat at KBLA 1580, Master Jahi, because they are kind of dropping some knowledge there, shouting out Kwamel, shouting out the Del, the Funky Homo Sapien, the Souls of Mischief, Hieroglyphics, Saphir, just a whole bunch of folks that maybe aren't in that, whatever you call them, the A-list of Bay Area hip-hop.
Yep. Hey, salute to everybody in the comments. I'm definitely seeing everything that you are saying. As I have told everybody, is that if we induct 1,000 people at one time, I will be spending the next 20 years trying to put together the archive. So we will have so we will have 2 inductions every year until,
Because an induction doesn't just mean, you say their name and give them a plaque. It means gathering up all day stuff, like probably this home turf hat that I got right here that I still have from the TV show. And everybody's archives of video and audio, which is a massive project, so that they can be accessed. And you and I talked about this, and I apologize if I'm part of the heavy lift, because when you reached out to me, I'm like, well, yeah, okay. I got a lot going on. I'm worried about what's happening right now, not what was happening in the past. A few of my friends, specifically Davey D and Paris, were like, yeah, you got to reach back to Brother Jahi, because we always talk about erasure, and they say you're the one that's always hollering about black women being erased from the narrative, and you're not even jumping on this. So I appreciate your patience, I got 2-3 jobs right now. Like, I'm not worried about what was happening in the 80s and 90s. But I think it's a beautiful thing that this will be preserved, because I see us being written out of the story right now. Not just black women, black people. Like, all of a sudden, rap is for everybody. And it is. That's fine. But you don't get to erase the origin stories.
That's right. And including that hat. That hat is dope, just so you know. I see that. And, I will say this, that, I appreciate taking my time and being patient in this process with all of our artists, because it's an important time. I don't think people have really recognized that time is moving really quickly, and the great things that we have done. I've been that way. It's taken me a long time to stop and look into my archives. But as I now am fully immersed in it, what I recognize is that we can tell a story of what we have done and our contribution, so future generations know, number one, that we were here, and number two, have a blueprint of how they can continue to move forward. And again, in hip-hop, you see exhibits happening all over the place right now for the 50th anniversary, because they love to exhibit us, put us up, put us on the walls, have people come out, and then they take them exhibits down and they move on to something else. The ability to create our own special collections gives us an opportunity to have what we call the Schomburg of the West Coast, the ability to come into a place and and do serious research and study. For example, even as you was playing Me Against the World right now, I wanted to shout out Ray Love. And if folks don't know, Ray Love will be a part of the induction on August 11th, so I'm dropping his name. But when I hear Pac with Me Against the World, I think about Ray Love and Tupac with their group Strictly Dope, and you can hear those cadences and those flows in his work, and a lot of times people don't talk about how Ray Love had a lot to do with sharpening that steel of Tupac as a lyricist. And so I look forward to being able to preserve his story as well as an example of folks who are going to be in the archives. Who else in L.A.? I wanted to shout out Money B as well, too. He's been telling great Tupac stories. And, again, I'm not going to give it all away, but I will say I am humbly honored to be able to say that Digital Underground will be a part of our archives and a part of our celebration. Just giving folks an example of folks that will be in, because the legacy matters and it's important. And then also I'd be remiss if I didn't shout out Set and the whole Shakur family. Just a lot of love and respect. I saw y'all down in L.A. saluting the
Ray
star.
Love was there. He was absolutely there.
Yeah, and, we got a street naming ceremony in Oakland that should be happening very soon. Part of our mission working with the community was that we wrote a letter in behalf of really saying that it's long overdue for a street for Tupac Shakur, because it only adds to the complexity and the legacy of preserving Bay Area hip-hop.
To me, it's hard for me to even think about the fact that Tupac is gone, that Greg is gone, Shock G. It just seems,
R.I.P. Shock G.
So many, folks already have left the building who are not old people, Yeah.
Man, let me just say this about Shock G, if I may. I really pour libation. When I think about Pac on today, I also pour libation for Shock G, because in hip hop culture, we need Shock Gs. Chuck D was my Shock G. He was backstage at the Rock and you mentioned my bio, 1999, backstage Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Chuck didn't know me from anybody, but he took the time to get to know my name. He was like, I'm going to check out your 5-minute set, which he did, and he gave me an opportunity. So when I think about Shock G giving Pac that opportunity, man, hopefully in terms of our culture, not the music industry, but in our culture, I hope we are really paying attention to how important a Shock G was, because opportunities is really what changes people's lives. One opportunity, look what it did for Pac. If he would have been on some man, I don't even like that rap, man. Holla at you later. We don't know what would have come of Pac, but we know because a person like Shock G gave him a shot, that he was able to take it. So
also Shock G, to me, he opened things up in terms of just reminding us that hip-hop can be whatever we say it is, right? It can be politically active, it can be party music, it can be goofy as hell, so I think musically he's a little underrated too, not just as an opportunity giver.
Ain't no question.
Yeah, but as an opener of space. Also, people that should still be around to celebrate this is Mac Dre. I mean, why are these folks gone? And it is what it is. But I'm glad that you're preserving, the legacy.
That's right. Because all too often we have gotten out of here, and then we're still living in a society where, we wake up, we give thanks that we're alive and we about our business and do our thing, but we also know that we living in America, and we know that at any point in time, tragedy can strike. So we have to just be really diligent, self-care, safety,
Absolutely.
as we move through this culture. And then also I think we've lost enough people now where we can actually, if interested, learn through their lives and pick up on the things that they did well and maybe some of their mistakes as well too, and learn from them so we can be able to be here a little bit longer.
That's right.
Pac and I are the same age. He got me about 3 months.
Hold that thought. We're talking with Master Jahi. We got news, traffic, and sports, and continuing the conversation about West Coast hip-hop in the Bay Area Hip-Hop Archives.
KBLA Talk 1580 is an intervention. When we come forward, includes you. KBLA Talk 1580, turning pain into power.
I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. The Massachusetts Air National Guardsman accused of leaking classified documents has been indicted by a federal grand jury. Jack Teixeira faces 6 counts of willful retention and transmission of classified information in relation to the national defense. U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland said Teixeira was entrusted by the United States government with access to sensitive information that could cause grave damage if shared. In Illinois, the Chicago police sergeant who was in charge of the botched raid on the home of African-American Anjanette Young is out of a job. The Chicago Police Board voted 5-3 in favor of firing Alex Walensky for multiple rule violations and a failure of leadership in the case. She sued the city and 12 officers and received a $2.9 million settlement. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Stop waiting for a great deal on better sleep. Mattress Firm's July 4th sale is happening now. Save up to $700 on top brands when you get a king bed for a queen price. Plus, get a free adjustable base on qualifying purchases. Shop today to get the right bed at the right price.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The WNBA is allowing all 12 teams to fly with a charter company when possible. The long overdue decision comes after Brittany Griner was harassed in the Dallas-Fort Worth airport last weekend. A YouTube influencer confronted Griner as she and her Phoenix teammates were walking to their gate to catch a commercial flight. The man expressed his anger over the prisoner swap that freed Griner from a Russian prison in December. WNBA players have been complaining for years about the physical and mental stress of flying commercial. All 30 NBA teams use a charter service or have their own planes for every road game. Freddie Freeman delivered a bases-loaded single in the bottom of the 11th to give the Dodgers a comeback win over the Chicago White Sox. The Giants are in town tonight for the start of a 3-game series at Dodger Stadium. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Everybody in the house make some noise!
Is there a better day of the year to celebrate the anniversary of the only unapologetically progressive talk station west of the Mississippi, focused on issues that impact the black community?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
We think not. A station that amplifies black voices like yours with hosts and guests who look and sound like you. Celebrating our second anniversary on Juneteenth. We're KBLA Talk 1580. And you ain't seen nothing yet. This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
Did you know that all City of LA renters have rights? Check out these 3 facts. Residential tenants can't be evicted without reason or just cause. Eviction protection still exists for unpaid COVID-19 rental debt due before March 31st, 2023. And you have 5 days to respond to an eviction notice. 5 days. Many Angelenos may be at risk of losing their home, and that's why we want you to know your rights. Learn more at housing.lacity.org. Be informed, be protected, be at home. JP Morgan Chase is building on the investments in California and around the country to help close the racial wealth gap and build a more equitable future. As part of JP Morgan Chase commitment, they are taking action to help improve financial wealth and access to banking in the Black community, helping more people open low-cost checking and savings accounts, hosting community seminars with supporting Black-led institutions by building awareness about financial investments, hiring community managers, and opening community center branches like Crenshaw, Inglewood, and downtown LA. Visit today, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Again, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Get the tools to help reach your financial goals. Visit today, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Again, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity.
Sunday, June 18th, come out to Africatown in Lamert Park for the Juneteenth Independence Revolution commemoration. The Independence Revolution will be part of a 3-day weekend to celebrate Juneteenth. Join in the national hashtag Wave of Freedom, where Black people across the country will stand in solidarity to demand reparations for Black American descendants of slavery. Hear from the frontline organizations who are fighting for better conditions for Black LA. Bring your dad to be part of the Honor Thy Fathers ceremony, which will acknowledge dozens of Black fathers in the community. See performances from some of LA's top local artists. Shop with a variety of local Black merchants selling food, clothes, art, and more. The Juneteenth Independence Revolution is a free event for the entire family. Sunday, June 18th from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m., come to Africatown in Lamert Park to celebrate Black Independence Day. The Juneteenth Independence Revolution is brought to you by Africatown Enterprise, the African Village Vendors Association at Lamert Park, Black Lives Matter LA, Downtown Crenshaw, and Destination Crenshaw.
We knew you'd stick around. This is LA's home for progressive talk radio. Welcome back to KBLA Talk 1580.
Yo, throw your fingers up. Tell me, baby, are you lonely? Don't wanna rush, I can help you if you're only. Let me touch you for wrong, love, tell me. Cause I get caught up in the life I live as hell. See, I never thought I'd see the day when I would calm down. You ain't heard, I've been on the clown and get around. That's my word, see you walking and you're looking good. Yes, indeed, got a body like a sex fiend. You're killing me with your attitude to match, right? Don't be phony, cause I hate it when you act like you don't know me, I've been stressing in the spotlight. I want the fame, but the industry's a lot like a crap game, ain't no time for commitment. I gotta go, can't be with you every minute, miss another show. And even though I'm known for my one night stand, look here, I wanna be an honest man, but temptation's gone.
KBLA Talk 1580. Talking with Master Jahi. He's an artist in his own right, community activist. Has toured the country, the world, released his own material, but now has partnered with the Oakland Museum to curate and create the Bay Area Hip Hop Archives. I'm honored to have been drafted into what is this is the second class, right?
That's right.
Of folks that are part of the archive, and it is August 11th that the party will take place in the Bay Area at the Oakland Museum. Tell people how they can go. I have a feeling I'm not going to be able to pry out of you who those inductees are, other than myself. But maybe you share one or two.
Absolutely. August 11th, 2023, at the Oakland Museum of California. It is completely free for the community. Actually, I'm the curator for the month of August for the Oakland Museum of California. So every Friday, we will have free hip-hop related events. So the whole family is welcome to come out. And let's see, I said Digital Underground. I said Ray Love.
Yeah.
Those, they are definitely in the induction class. For you, I'm going to give you 5 to 7 more just folks. There's some I got to keep close to the vest because I want people to come and I want it to be a surprise. But shout out to my big homie Adisa Banjoko, the Bishop of Hip Hop.
Okay.
He will be inducted. Shout out to my brother Chuck Johnson from the rap show of Soul Beat. Soul Beat is legendary. Shout out to Uncle Ralph McDaniels, who said a friend of his came out to Oakland in the 70s and saw Soul Beat, and that's what inspired him to do Video Music Box. So I picked up that history in the process. The 2024 Olympics, breaking is the first dance discipline in the Olympics ever. But unfortunately, poppin', lockin', strutting, boogaloo is not talked about enough because those are West Coast phenomena. That comes from the West Coast. Poppin', lockin', strutting, and boogaloo is a West Coast thing. And I will say, if you don't know the name Media Circuits, I want you to look up Media Circuits because they also will be inducted into the archives, one of the greatest dance crews ever. Whatever you see the Jabberwockies doing, they got it from Media Circuits, including the mask, the moves, everything. Shout out to my homegirl Jennifer Johns. She's down in L.A. Jennifer Johns. When I walked up to her, some people questioned whether or not she was hip hop, and she said, "I am hip hop," which I know, which I know because we went on tour. I took her overseas for the first time in 2004. So. I will say, more to come. If you really want to know what the full list is, just check us out on Monday, 9 a.m. on Juneteenth at Bay Area Hip Hop Archives. We will announce the full list, and then we will be celebrating for the 50th anniversary, August 11th.
Now, if people can show up for that 9 a.m. at Juneteenth at the Oakland Museum, but what if we're in other markets, other cities and towns? Will you stream it?
Yeah, so we are having a conversation about streaming, and I would just say, just stay in touch with us on Instagram, and you'll see all the updates that are coming. If we do not stream it live, what I will say is that we will film the entire thing and we will post it.
And I think the Instagram handle is just Bay Area Hip Hop Archives. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah, Bay Area Hip Hop Archives. Yeah.
Yeah, I already follow, so that doesn't surprise me. But you were talking about, how the Bay, is cutting edge in some ways, and even we've been talking a lot about the origins of West Coast hip hop in general, but more emphasis on SoCal because this is where I am and this is where the artists are that walk into KBLA studios. But I think the Bay Area also has a unique place. Because of its relationship to the funk. In your experience, what is the Bay Area's unique contribution to the emergence of West Coast hip-hop?
Well, I would say number one is the independent spirit, and again, that starts with the Too Shorts and the Ant Banks and things like that, the ability to be able to make their own music, get it out to their own community, sell it out of the trunk and do incredibly well. Even shout out to Dr. E40 as well too. I think that independent grind and hustle, that ability that if you got skill, you got will, you got determination, and you got a good product in music, and you can rock live, that, you got a shot, The other thing about the Bay Area is that they are the champions of freestyling. Like, don't come up here in the Bay with these written rhymes because you're going to get your head chopped off, because brothers and sisters up here can freestyle off the dome. And we ain't talking about pre-written raps. We talking about off the dome. I had a long conversation with Festo D of Souls of Mischief, who is in our inaugural induction class, and he was just like, they looked at it, that was kind of a knock on you. If you couldn't come off the head freestyle, then, Bay Area artists looking at you side-eyed because they do that real well. And I think thirdly, which is not talked about enough, is the hip-hop activism. That, the idea of hip-hop activism, meaning that you are in your communities making change, demanding change, fighting for rights, and using hip-hop as a paradigm and as a foundation by which you make those movements. I mean, the Bay historically has done that, and really that's how I first came out here 24 years ago, was around hip-hop activism. So I think those things really are important. And then it's just and then lastly is the flavor. I mean, people like Sugar T, you can't get around, like just her natural flavor and style and her contribution to the culture. People like Mystic, the graffiti writers like Reefer One, Brett Cook, and many others. I mean, the Bay is flying original, and I think a lot of times, I will say this, I lived in D.C. for a time, and I remember that go-go in D.C. was such a D.C. thing, and you had to just be in D.C. to know that. I think the Bay, the sound of the Bay, the movement of the Bay is something that you really got to come to experience, and when you come to experience, it can be life-changing.
Yeah, and I think, you're right about the graffiti or spray can art, because I just remember it being highly developed in the Bay before it, other than New York, really exploded. And the creative turntablists, the creativity that was going into the dance, all that. And I feel like the Bay Area is not afraid to create a subgenre or a sub-subgenre.
Yeah.
But to the activists,
and I think now at 50, now that hip hop is 50, I mean, we universally recognize August 11th, 1973, and Cindy Campbell and Kool Herc and 1520 Sedgwick Avenue and the Bronx. We acknowledge that, but I think now at 50, we can all recognize that there's a larger story to be told. Poppin', lockin', strutting, and boogaloo was happening.
It's
way
funny you say that, Master
1973.
Jahi, but let me tell you something. The conversation we've been having on West Coast hip hop, not everyone agrees with that August 11th, 1973. I think we all coalesce around that because that's what we're celebrating right now. But people have their own versions of what, when, how. Like you said, people bring it back later. Some folks say, well, he didn't say hip hop, so it wasn't hip hop. To me, it's not what you're saying; it's what you're doing. But I think, I think there is some controversy, and I'm here for that actually.
Yeah, I've been hearing the controversy as well. I mean, I had people pull up to our first induction was like, we started before that. And you know what? What I will ultimately say is that we will see that. I mean, if you asking me, if you really want to get controversial, for me, hip-hop starts on the African continent. It predates all of this conversation that we're talking about. Go back through the transatlantic slave trade. So that's through the Americas, through the Caribbean, Central South America, and the beginnings of hip-hop, boom bap. I mean, if we're talking about the African drum, boom bap, that's where it comes from. The drum was a form of communication, and we've seen that. For me, I see it as an unbreakable DNA spirit that showed up as field songs, then it showed up as blues, then it showed up as bebop, then it showed as big band and soul, funk, jazz, and now the next iteration name of it is hip hop. So,
all right, Master Jahi, we'll continue the conversation. Maybe it might be a several-part series. We got a lot to talk about. KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominic DePrima when we come forward.
Have you faced discrimination in Los Angeles? The City of LA Civil Rights Department can help. They investigate private sector discrimination in LA City in commerce, education, employment, and housing. If you're facing discrimination, submit a complaint online for free at laisforeveryone.com. That's laisforeveryone.com or call 213-978-1845.
If you're a business owner or lead a nonprofit that has between 26 and 49 employees and you paid COVID sick leave in 2021 or 22, you may qualify for reimbursement through a state grant program administered by the California Office of the Small Business Advocate. Learn more at covidpaidsick.com.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Are you interested in catching up on all the latest entertainment news, trending topics, and exciting interviews? I got you. Tune in to The Raw Report with Robin Ayers, Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. I'm your host, Robin Ayers. Join me every weekday with some of the best entertainment contributors in the business as we break down what's going on, who's got next, and what not to miss. Only on The Raw Report with Robin Ayers.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
Sunday, June 18th, come out to Africatown in Leimert Park for the Juneteenth Independence Revolution commemoration. The Independence Revolution will be part of a 3-day weekend to celebrate Juneteenth. Join in the national hashtag Wave of Freedom, where Black people across the country will stand in solidarity to demand reparations for Black American descendants of slavery. Hear from the frontline organizations who are fighting for better conditions for Black LA. Bring your dad to be part of the Honor Thy Fathers ceremony, which will acknowledge dozens of Black fathers in the community. See performances from some of LA's top local artists. Shop with a variety of local Black merchants selling food, clothes, art, and more. The Juneteenth Independence Revolution is a free event for the entire family. Sunday, June 18th from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m., come to Africatown in Leimert Park to celebrate Black Independence Day. The Juneteenth Independence Revolution is brought to you by Africatown Enterprise, the African Village Vendors Association at Leimert Park, Black Lives Matter LA, Downtown Crenshaw, and Destination Crenshaw.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Tired of being locked out of job opportunities and shut down by systemic racism? KBLA stands with you in fighting for the rights of Black workers, and we don't black down. The Los Angeles Black Workers Center is a dynamic alliance of workers, organized labor, community-based organizations, clergy, students, and scholars, working collectively to improve the position of the black working class. The LA Black Workers Center takes a comprehensive approach to addressing the black jobs crisis. Their programs promote access to quality jobs, racial equity in hiring and retention, discrimination-free job sites, and they prepare black workers for employment in high-wage, career-track jobs. The Black Workers Center supports workers who need help protecting their rights on the job. They give workers access to quality jobs and remove systemic barriers to employment. To sign up for free career readiness training, get involved in organizing around anti-discrimination, learn about union apprenticeship programs, or sign on to a trade registry, please visit www.lablackworkerscenter.org. That's lablackworkerscenter.org. Together, we can beat the black jobs crisis. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Heard any other talk radio lately that sounds anything like this? We didn't think so. You're listening to Unapologetically Progressive, KBLA Talk 1580.
Shall not fear no man but God, though I walk through the valley of death. Shed so many tears. I sit down before I wake. Please, God, walk with me and take me to heaven. Back in elementary, I thrived on misery. Left me alone, I grew up amongst a dying breed. Inside my mind, couldn't find a place to rest until I got that Doug life tatted on my chest. Tell me, can you feel me? I'm not living in the past. You wanna last? Be the first to blast. Remember Cato, no longer with us, see the seats. Call on the sirens, seen them murdered in the streets. Now rest in peace. Is there heaven for a G? Remember me? So many homies in the cemetery shed so many tears.
KBLA Talk 1580. My 20-something engineer over here singing along. That just shows you the impact of Mr. Shakur. We're talking with Master Jahi's community leader. He's program manager for the Office of African American Male Achievement, the Oakland Unified School District. He manages the Manhood Development Program in 16 school sites in Oakland. He's also the creator of the Bay Area Hip Hop Archives at the Oakland Museum. You've invited everybody to the unveiling in Oakland at 9 o'clock in the morning on Juneteenth. And the 11th is the celebration of the 50th anniversary, the induction of all these folks who mostly will be there in person.
That's right.
And how do people come to that? How do you get tickets or participate in that some kind of way?
Oh, yeah. So, and then just a point of clarification. Don't come to Oakland on Monday, Juneteenth. Just check us on Instagram.
Okay.
We're just going to release the names on Instagram. And then on August 11th, 7 p.m. at the Oakland Museum of California, right there on 1000 Oak Street from 5 o'clock to 9 p.m. Just pull up. It's free. It's free for the community. We'll be in the garden. We're going to celebrate, activists, artists, and educators of the hip-hop community, unifying us for these special collections to make sure that, on the 100th anniversary, when we're not here, our archives will live on. So, all of our events that we're doing for the 50th anniversary of hip-hop is all free.
That's amazing. And then, once the archives are going up a little bit at a time, because like you said, you got to go through everybody's storages and whatnot and preserve these artifacts. But is some of it available now? Like, when will this stuff be available for people to access through that library and for whatever their scholarly or just entertainment pursuits might be?
Yeah, so what I can tell you is that our inaugural inductee, Davy D, we are in process of his first part of his collection, and the goal is on August 11th we'll have a soft opening online where you'll be able to see some of those items. Also, Ankh Marketing, Bay Area champions of promoting the best of hip hop events. they have all of their flyers for the last 25 years. So we'll have some of those available as well online. And what I would ask everybody, outside of that, I just would ask people to exercise a little bit of patience. We cooking a home-cooked meal, not a fast food, so it's going to take us a minute. But once we have it set up, scholars, teachers, educators, people who are just curious to know will have a central location where you really can study Bay Area hip-hop in a way that's never been done before.
That's incredible and amazing. And I meant to comment too when you said soul beat, because I remember when we were doing home turf, it was home turf and soul beat. Home turf in the Bay in San Francisco, soul beat in Oakland. And they were doing a lot of music videos, and we were out there trying to capture the culture. I really want to shout out John Fromer, because he created that show long before 106 and Park, long before Yo MTV Raps. The Bay Area was actually starting to uplift and preserve and chronicle some of the culture.
Yeah, and you know what? And you had bars too, so let's not like forget that. You had bar. You was putting in bar work on the show as well too. So we'll see if we can get you to see if you can bust a 16 for us when we induct you in August 11th.
That's highly unlikely, but ask Miles. He talked me into playing my only recorded song on the air the other day. I don't know how he did that. Miles Lowe must have juice. But
again, when you ask me about the Bay, again, look at the originality of home turf. Look at the originality of soul beat. To be able to have those two things happening in one particular place at the same time just really speaks to the uniqueness of the Bay Area. And that's why, as long as I'm in the United States, I will call Oakland, California home.
Master Jahi, we got about 3 minutes here. I want to just hand you the mic to say what you want to say about, West Coast hip hop or Bay Area, the contribution. I mean, there's just so much to say and so much to know, but what do you want to share with us this morning?
I think the way I would want to close it out is the 55 artists, activists, educators, and culture keepers of hip-hop culture in the Bay Area who have all decided to come together to agree that preservation is important and entrusting me to build this special collection for us as a community. I just want to thank them. I want to thank them first. There's no archive that can be done without community. And I think we have to remember, whether we argue about the date of the birthday or where it started, the fact of the matter is that hip-hop started in the community. It's a community thing. It happened amongst our community members first, before it was in museums, libraries, schools. All these other places are great, but it's always rooted in the community. And it was the community's response to my idea of to preserve us is the reason why I'm able to do this work. So for me, I want to thank my inaugural class. They know who they are, and I can't wait till Monday to share these 41 additional artists that will join our collective family for the archives, including yourself. And again, we look forward to seeing folks who want to come up to the Bay, see what we're doing. We'll see you August 11th at the Oakland Museum of California.
All right, and tell folks how to follow you and the archives.
Yeah, so follow me at the Bay Area Hip Hop Archives on Instagram. That's pretty much where I spend my time. You'll see me around, but you'll come to the town if you're looking for me. The Bay Area Hip Hop Archives on Instagram is going to be our singular source for everything that we're doing all summer.
We got about half a minute here. Will you think you'll be touring and rapping and performing until indefinitely?
For me, I am evolving into being a curator, and I'm really loving it and enjoying it. But I'm an MC first, so you will see me pop up on the microphone as long as I got breath in my lungs. So just stay tuned. Right now the focus is the archives, but I got something in the works as well too.
Yeah, because there's two schools of thought. Some of us say put the mic down, and some of y'all just keep going. I won't put the mic down, but the rapping mic. at a certain point.
Yeah, I look at this like a blues artist. I'm a microphone journeyman, so I'm on this journey, and the way I do it is the way I do it. And as long as folks appreciate it, I'm going to keep going. So.
And absolutely we do. Master Jahi, thank you. It's a busy day around here. We've got news, traffic, sports, and then the mayor of New Orleans is joining us. Mayor LaToya Cantrell next on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.